Clear. Hello, how are you?
Hi,
How old are you?
I'm well. How are you?
How old are you?
I'm 22. I just turned 22.
Oh, okay. What do you got for me?
Um, so I'm in college actually right now, and I just watch your lives for advice and just to hear what you have to say and take notes. I don't have a lot of experience in the dating realm, but ideally I would like to marry. I would like to be a wife and a mother, ideally stay at home. But I do want to build something for myself
Why?
before I do that.
Why?
Why?
Hmm?
Um, Security. I just, if things,
What's the marriage for?
well, it's just in my mind, it just
Would you
seems,
go buy a new Mercedes and then go buy a Honda Accord for security in case the Mercedes didn't work?
no,
No, you just make sure you get a good Mercedes, right?
right.
Why do so many of you ladies automatically start looking for side doors for security?
I guess in my mind, it's just such a big sacrifice and risk to
Dying alone is a bigger one. Were your
what
mother
did you
and
say?
father married? But dying alone is a bigger one. Were your mother and father married?
No,
Okay,
no.
just raised by your mother?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Just raised by your mother?
Both parents are in my life.
Is your mother married?
No, my mom's not married.
Is your father married?
No, my father's not married either.
How many siblings do you have?
I have two on
Okay.
my dad's side.
So do you go to a predominantly white college or an HBCU?
Predominantly white college.
So when you hear your non-black college uh, students, do you hear them talk about relationships in such negative ways that they need to get a business started before they get married? Do you hear Becky Marisol and Mylene talking like that? That they need to get a little something to ensure in case their marriage doesn't work out?
I mean, I
As the
mean,
norm, as the norm.
I mean, 22, 21-year-olds, 21-year-old
Non-black
women,
women.
yes, they are.
Non-black women.
Oh, young black women.
Non,
Oh,
non,
non-black
non,
women.
non, non.
Yeah, at my age, yes, I
You
do.
hear the majority of young college educated women saying they need to have some sort of security before they get married in case it doesn't work out.
I don't hear them saying those words, but I do hear them, you know, they have their vision boards. They have things that they want to
Vision
do.
boards are they okay? Would you say the majority of non-black women at college at the PWIs are looking for security blankets and side doors, or are they looking for marriages?
They are talking about their careers. They are. I go to a predominantly white college.
You can't even make this shit up. The numbers don't even support this. The next lowest great group of married women are 54%. Sorry, young lady. It doesn't compute. I gave you every opportunity to be reasonable.
I mean, I'm telling you the truth.
So, but let's just go down that path. What's your degree in?
I am studying communication in French.
So, a useless degree. What kind of security are you going to make in the next 7 years to provide you for a lifetime in case your marriage doesn't work? Nothing.
Okay.
Man, it's simple math.
Okay.
You're getting a degree in communications, which is useless. Humanities. It's not a high income generating in French. So what would you be qualified to do in the work world that's going to pay you enough money to where you can stock away residuals?
Okay, I mean, I respect what you have to say. What I'm doing is not useless at all.
I
I
asked you a question
still,
before you monologue. I asked you a question before you monologue.
what's your monologue?
What
What's your question?
what are you going to be doing in the marketplace after graduation that's going to pay you enough money to where you can stock away residual income for a future?
Well, as of right now, I'll probably have a job associated with the federal government.
What are you going to be doing?
Specifically, I don't know that yet.
About how much money do you think you'll be earning annually upon graduation, entry level?
To start off, probably 60, 70,000.
No. Not with a communications degree, no. The average communication student is making around 35,000 to start, man. I do this in real life, okay?
Okay.
How many jobs you plan on working?
As many jobs as I need
How
to
many jobs do you plan on working?
understand.
It's not a career. See, what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is, it's one thing to say, I'm afraid of marriage because it might not work, so I need to get me something before I get married. Okay, let's talk about how that works. And y'all act like you can go into the work world and you're competent enough to earn enough high income as a salary, entry level. You
But
don't.
what's wrong
Damn,
with that?
listen.
What's wrong with wanting that?
What's wrong? Because it's stupid. It doesn't work, and I will break it down with the math. Put your feelings to the side and talk to me like a business person.
Okay.
Ma'am, you have a communication degree in French. Those are humanities. That's not a high income skill. You'll be entry level in any job. Do you have student loans?
Yes.
Approximately how much student loan?
Federal student loans.
Approximately how much debt will you be in upon graduation?
No more than under 15,000.
Okay. So you'll be coming out of school earning around average middle class money. That's it. You're not qualified to do anything else. You don't get paid upon potential. You get paid upon compensation. Upon competence. You will be working 40 hours a week at a job, entry level. Where are you gonna stack additional money? That means you got to go get a part-time job, and that part-time job is just going to be hourly.
Okay.
So in essence, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. I don't have the time or the skills in a 5 to 7 year window to stack anything substantial. If you had a part-time job that was paying $15 an hour and that's 1,000 hours a year, over 5 years, $75,000 after taxes. If you maybe had 50, if you would cap it, maybe. But that's not realistic. And how long would $50,000 last you? My point is, in our culture, I need you guys to think. I asked her, if you go to a predominantly white institution, how many non-black women are looking for security in case a marriage or relationship doesn't work? This is one of the biggest twists on the black community. Our women have been made to think so about marriage and relationship in such dangerous ways to where that you guys are cultured to be independent. There's a huge viral thread going on right now talking about Latinas are raised to be wives, black women are raised to be independent. And even right now, with a communication degree in French, you know your income potential initially is not going to be high. And you don't have unlimited hours. So you'd be a vanity ego project, make a few $1,000s. Would it not be better to learn how to work with a man for a lifetime and make sure your marriage doesn't fail and not need a parachute or a security blanket?
Ideally, yes. So
Not ideally. 80% of divorces are filed by women. Not ideally. You ladies leave.
Okay. So what you're saying is graduate in a few months, I should just be on the hunt to work for a man that I'm with, or on the hunt for a husband.
What I'm saying is, ma'am, one of the biggest reasons why we as a Black community are lagging behind is because we don't have Black families. 80% of our children are born to single parent households. Every generation is starting over. When your mother and father, are they going to pass you out any inheritance?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how uncommon that is?
Very.
Because we don't have family. So while at 22, the first thing you said about marriage was, well, I need to get me something as an insurance blanket in case it doesn't work out. When other groups are like, well, shit, I'm going to get married and it's going to work because they know relationship is the key. You guys have made it, you guys think you're the key. You got a degree in communications and French. Due respect, man, that's not heart surgery. It's not a high income, guaranteed high income. Sure, it has the potential, but the probability is low. You have to have, federal government, consulates, whatever, man, so many, that's so unlikely. DC is literally young women like yourself who are working part-time at Starbucks because they get out there and realize that this was a dumb thing to go to school for. And they don't have the relationship skill. So even when I said, you said, so you're telling me as a young woman, I should get out here and hunt for a man to become. You talk about relationships in negative ways, defensive ways. It's not, where's the optimism? I can't wait to be a wife and a mother and with a man to build and da. It's all, that's the way our culture works. Think of relationships in restrictive terms.
Well, I not as much as you have in this conversation, but I'm very hopeful and I'm very optimistic.
Well, the first thing out of your mouth undercut everything you just said. So you can say that after hearing everything. I challenge you to go back and listen to this segment and look in the comments section. I just respond to what I heard, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Why at 22 why at 22 do you need a side door or an emergency plan?
I guess, like I was saying, in my mind, it's a huge risk and a sacrifice. If that's negative, then okay.
It's a huge risk, man, but it's a risk, meaning if the marriage doesn't work, right? That's the risk. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't work, if the person turns out not to be who maybe. Stop right there. If it doesn't, so like I said, do you go buy a BMW and buy a Honda Accord just in case you buy a bad BMW, or do you make sure you get a good car? This is what I need you guys to understand. Our women never really are committed to the primary relationship. They're more committed to college, jobs, themselves. When you, statistically, females, 80% of divorces in our community are filed by Black women. Black women are twice as divorced as they are married. So when you say ideally and all this other stuff, if the women in our community stop filing divorce, what kind of marriage rates will we look like? What we have? 26% of our women are married right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a almost 60% divorce, 56% divorce rate. 80% of those are filed by Black women. So 8 out of 10. So arguably, let's just call it 50-50. If you have 50 divorces out of 100, if 80% of those divorces are filed by women, that's 40. If we cut that to 20%, by my math, that means we'd have an additional 30% of marriages. That means black marital rates would go from 26 to 56%. You'd be just as married as white women. Stay in your marriages, stay in your relationships. Learn that you need a man. Men aren't optional. Let me say this. Unless you know you're going to be in the top 10% of all female earners for a lifetime, a man is not optional. He is absolutely required. You won't make enough money.
I understand that. I agree with that. I do. 100%.
So I get it. So where we're at this impasse is this whole ideally, it's, well, if I get the wrong man at this, or do you have what it takes to stay in a relationship for a lifetime? Do you have what it takes to stay with one man for a lifetime? Do you have, not him, not ideally, do you have what it takes to wake up every day and decide to stay with your man for a lifetime?
Yes, I do.
And that's all you need. Then that's the only security you need. Because whatever you think you can go out here and do with a job and income, that's just money. Go ahead.
I agree. Again, I also think, to add on, as a young black woman, there's just a lot of hesitation. There's insecurities to make that step and actually do that. The type of men you're talking about, just like the type of women you are hoping black women aspire to become, are rare. That's also a reality.
Prior to 1965, we were married at a rate of 80%. And we were not college educated back then. We were just average working class people. 80%. Jim Crow, segregation, slavery, lynchings, 80%. My question is, the insecurities you have as a young black woman, where do they come from?
From what I see around me.
How do you hear?
Media.
Yeah, but males or no. Where are you getting your information about relationships? Directly from women or men?
Mostly from women.
Thank you. So men ain't got nothing to do with your insecurities or your fears. This was put into you because it's coming from mostly from women. If women change the way they talk and view relationships, it would change your inputs.
Well, what about the men speaking?
No, ma'am. What you see, here's the problem. What she's going to try to do is presume that the reason the women are talking that way is because the men do it. No, the numbers don't. Okay, hold on. I'll let you. My point. I'll make another point. Men don't leave relationships. 54% of black men are single and childless. 61% in the middle class. The divorce rates and everything is the only thing going. Men file divorce 2 out of 10 times. Women are filing divorce most of the time. Women control how relationships are talked about. And prior to no-fault divorce, where women actually couldn't just divorce because they didn't like it, we had community. Now you can stay or go based upon anything. You don't even have to go to a judge or anything and say there's a reason, just irreconcilable differences. And you said it yourself. No matter how it comes, media, television, culture, you are taking your cues from women. Men can't fix that. If they can, and if you think they can, please tell me how.
I think that, I have a balance of healthy women role models and male role models in my life. But when I take inventory of my friends, for example, I don't think enough men add their voices to the conversation. And I don't know if that is because women are so outspoken or just, are hammering their opinions. But I don't think
when your friends talk about relationships, I'll tell you one thing: when women talk about relationships with other women, y'all don't challenge him. Y'all just believe him. I left him because he's an asshole. He's a dog. Well, you don't question him. Y'all believe all women. But the numbers, man, the numbers.
Well, I don't, but.
But you get what I'm saying.
I get it.
Do you think in our culture, Black women talk about relationships in positive ways?
No, they don't.
And in a free country, we can't make y'all do anything. So if women get their cues, if women like yourself get cues from other women, and y'all don't check the women and question the women and vet the women, you expect men to say, men have been saying it for the longest. We're not doing this stuff. We didn't do that. But then we still get bills, scrubs. I don't want this, to now. And you got one man who talks, and how many times are they trying to cancel me just for having a conversation? But the funny thing is, women who look like you and show your reflection are losing because you're the most unmarried, unprotected out here by yourselves. White, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, and Asian women are married. They got families, extended families, natural networks to do business, to deal with, to pass on wealth, more opportunities. We got individuals.
Okay, and you're saying that we're the most unprotected, disrespected, etc.
I said,
or whatever you just said. As a result, that's why a lot of women are the way that they are.
You're unprotected because you choose to be. They're not unprotected because the men don't want. No, ma'am. Excuse me. You're not unprotected because the men don't want. No, excuse me, ma'am. I'm sorry. No. 80% of divorces are filed by women. You're unprotected because you leave your relationships. Men can't make women stay. What power does a Black man have over a Black woman to make her do anything? So if you choose, how long have you watched my content?
A couple months now.
Go back and watch video after video and listen to all the women talk about how they were married. And you asked who filed for divorce? They, me, why? I wasn't happy. Most of the time, ma'am, just divorces. Look at the divorce filings. You can do your own research. Go in your state and look at irreconcilable differences. You can go look at it yourself. How is a single woman supposed to be protected and provided for in a world? What is a woman's baseline provision and protection in a society?
Can you repeat the question?
A female, a woman in any society is an individual woman's baseline protection.
A man.
Thank you. When you're a young woman, your father and the men of your family. But when you're an adult woman, it's supposed to be your man. How many of our women are standing without a man by choice? That's why you're the most unprotected. Not because men have failed and Black men don't want relationships. Because you ladies lack what it takes to be in and stay in relationships. Because you're always thinking, well, it could not work. Ideally this, ideally that. Man, I do this in real life. I talk to women every day. And more often than not, women are leaving relationships for no good reason. To the point to where I'm talking to you at 22. And I will be honest, when I was at university, I would listen to young women of other races happy. Freshman and sophomore years, they was out joining sororities, rushing, hoe phasing, doing all that other kind of stuff. They were out there bad. Black girls were getting in relationships. For junior and senior year, these women all gave up all that. They started looking for the guys who were going to medical, law school, whatever, getting married, finding out boyfriends, and getting engaged on their way out of college. Being married between 22 and 25. Non-black women, when I was at work, every summer, seemed like they were always going to weddings. Always going to weddings, always being in weddings. You know what I saw black women doing? Going to the club. There were no black women going to weddings. Because black women, when I was in school, junior and senior year, they were leaving their relationships because I'm about to graduate. I'm about to go out in the world. I don't want to be tied down to this. I got options. I'm young. Because they were told by...
Execute Order 66.
You don't need to be tied down to your college boyfriend, girl. You got your degree. You're going to move to your new apartment in a new city. You need to get out there and experience the things. Then next thing you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years didn't happen. You were 27 years old. Becky, Marisol, and Marlene have been married 2, 3 years. Got their first child or something. Now you 27, 28 years old, starting to look down 30 and like, well, dang. And all you've been out here doing is hot girl summer and partying. Cabo, Jamaica, whatever. Men are not as frequent as they were in high school and college. All you see is the men at your gym, your apartment complex, and a few guys in your office building. Relationships become harder and harder and harder to get. While the women you went to college with went to go to school they worked for a couple of years, and then next thing you know, they leaving because they got pregnant, they working for their husband. Black women are working longer because they got no husbands. I've seen this my entire life.
Okay.
So you at 22, when I hear you talk about, it's too much of a risk, I'm like, no, don't do this. Don't do this because, go back in my channel and listen to all these women over 40 who would say, I wish I could tell this young lady right now, stop thinking relationships are such a risk and recognize that relationships are what you want.
Okay.
That's a 180-degree switch. Because again, let's finish it out. Unless you know you're going to be in the top 10% of earners, because I give this example. If you're making $50,000 a year and got a 3%, if you got a cost of living adjustment to keep up for inflation, you're making $50,000 from 25 to 65. And you have a life expectancy up to 85. It's 20-year retirement. And you stacked away $200 a month over that 40-year career. You'd have a $750,000 shortfall in your retirement. Meaning you're gonna need anywhere from $1.9 to $2.4 million to retire on cash. You don't get there by one person. You need 2 incomes and a family. Countries are not set up for single individual people to live by themselves. That should scare you to death that you think, with a communication degree and a French degree, that I'm safer out here by myself than with a husband. No other group of women are moving like this. They're with their men. Y'all are out here making other people rich, standing alone, feeling unprotected, and then getting mad at black men for, we're unprotected. We can't make y'all decide to do right. Y'all got to decide to come back and be with your man. That's your original baseline protection.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good conversation though. I think it was good.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm tired of it. Look, guys, you know that's right.